Special thanks to these companies for being long-term partners of this channel.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Zach. We do overlanding and tech stuff. And today we're going to be talking about a little sort of drawer platform-ish kind of type setup that I helped my buddy build for his Outback. And I think it's really awesome, and I'm going to share the plans on my website. So if you're going to have an Outback and you don't have something necessarily as off-roady as my 4Runner, maybe this will be a good setup for you. And a lot of people really like Outbacks because they get really good gas mileage. So if you're wanting to do road trips and then just camp, this could be a really awesome setup for you. So let's just kind of step around back here, and I'm going to show you everything that I built in his little drawer system. So right off the bat, you probably can see this little just working surface here. So some of the stuff here, I drew some inspiration from Chase's channel. I'll link his channel down below. He does some pretty sweet adventuring, I think, out in Idaho, and he's got an Outback build. But this little part here, it's basically just like a working surface, and it slides in and out under the drawer. And then this drawer just has a little latch right here to help it from sliding in and out while you're going down the road. So we've just got one huge drawer right here. And what we wanted to do was set this drawer up so that there was some space to store stuff on top. And then obviously you could access some of it while you were in the vehicle. So when the drawer is completely pushed in, so when you're in the vehicle, you can actually remove this little insert here. It's pretty small, and you can get at everything in the front of the drawer. So, and then all you have to do is just unlatch it and then pull the drawer forward, and you can get access to the back. So this drawer is about 14 inches tall, and there's a lot of storage space in here. So he's using the back section of the drawer to just store extra propane, camping chairs, and blankets, that sort of stuff. And then in the front, he's able to store like a jet boil and some pots and pans, coffee cups, coffee, that sort of thing. So pretty handy, really nice little working space here as well. So I'm a big fan of having the inserts in the top of the drawer so that you can set stuff up top and work on stuff. And then right up here, this was kind of just a little shelf that he requested because he's got this little Jackery 240 that he uses to run fans and just charge electronics, that sort of thing. And so up here's a nice little storage tray where he can set everything at night when he's sleeping inside. So he's a lot like me. He really likes a comfortable place to sleep, and so he has a 6-inch memory foam mattress, and this is the cot dimension, so it's not quite a full single width, but it's still plenty large enough for someone to sleep on. And so it's 6 inches deep, and it's a tri-fold mattress as well, I believe made by Midland, the same company mine is. And it goes all the way up to the back of the seats and works great. It fits one person awesome, and it's super comfortable. It's got probably even more headroom than my platform because there's nothing underneath here. So this drawer is just mounted to a piece of plywood inside the trunk. The plywood is cut out to fit perfectly inside the rubber mat back here. So that's basically the entirety of the drawer system setup, but I'm just going to show you the rest of his build out because I think it's a really functional and awesome setup. So, and then in some of the spots where it's not as important, he just has these bug screens over his windows so that he can roll them down. I really like this, and honestly I should get some of these myself. The only downfall to using these is just you probably wouldn't put sort of like a window Reflectix insert because it would kind of defeat the purpose. So, and then in front of that drawer that you saw in the back, he has this 45 quart cooler from Arctic, and this is an awesome option to honestly store all of your food. If you don't have a fridge and you just want to have a cooler, this works great. And it fits really nicely in front of the drawer. It's just sitting on top of the seat folded down. This drawer system that I designed works completely with the middle row of seats, so you can leave it in the vehicle at all times if you want to, but obviously whatever you'd like to do, your middle row is fully functional if you need to use it when you're camping or that sort of thing. So the cooler just sits there, works really well, and he can store all of his dry food down in the footwell area. Obviously still plenty of space. You could even probably store like a duffel bag down there if you had a different place for the dry food. And so then if you can just kind of see in this little crack here, we actually put a little door on the back because this drawer bolts down to the piece of plywood that's on the floor. So it's just kind of a nice little access door to get right through there. But in between the cooler and the drawer is just a nice space to store like a water bottle or something small next to you when you're sleeping. So, and then I think this is really genius, but he has some small PC fans that use a USB port cable. And so you can plug in the USB cables to just a small battery pack or, you know, that Jackery 240, and then run these fans. And he has them pointing in opposite directions to just sort of help circulate the air on the inside of the vehicle. So one is in this headrest and the other in the passenger side. And then they just help to, you know, move air in addition to having a clip fan that he uses that's pointed on himself at night. So, and I think if I remember correctly, my buddy Jake actually recommended this roadie to me when I was looking for sleeping in vehicle options, but he's got them as well. And this is set up on the side here, on the side that he sleeps. And like I was saying in my walk around video, this basically is just a nice way to have good airflow and still, you know, completely weather sealed. So if it's raining at night or whatnot, you can still have this side open. All you do is put this over your door and then roll your window down, and it's just like a normal tent window. He's also got this Rock Pals 100-watt folding solar panel up here, and it charges up his Jackery 240 in no time. So super nice little solar panel pack that he carries along in the vehicle when he's traveling. So also a nice like aftermarket mod that he has is he's got some ditch brackets made by ADF, and he's got some LASFIT 3-inch fog pods up here set up, kind of like how I had on my 4Runner. He got a set just like mine to mount onto his vehicle, and so he's actually using an aux beam 8-switch controller. It's very similar to my Switch Pros. It just doesn't have some of the extra bells and whistles of, you know, different lighting patterns or different triggers, but it does a lot of the main functions well. And so we installed that, and I think it turned out really nicely. We'll just quick pop the hood and we'll show you where we put that. Right here we mounted the aux beam controller on the top of the fuse box. Then right here's the 60 amp fuse isolator for the power to the battery. And if you're gonna ever install stuff on an Outback, this does have the 3.6R 6-cylinder engine, so there's just less space in the engine bay. And so we had to get a little creative on making sure we kept everything clean and just mounted on the fuse box here instead of using like an aftermarket panel. And then all the wiring we just routed up and through the hood to each light, but it turned out really nice and it was a pretty quick install. So I posted a video about this on my channel, so if you're interested in that, feel free to go check that out. The last thing to mention is there is kind of a funny sort of malfunction or just sort of a weird thing about these 5th generation Outbacks, that you have to put something in the latch if you're gonna leave the back hatch open for a long period of time. Otherwise, sometimes the battery will die. So he just throws a carabiner in the latch there whenever we're gonna have it open for longer periods of time. So just something to note if you've got a 5th gen Outback like this, so 2015 and newer, except for like the really new models. So works pretty sweet and not hard to do. Just make sure you take that out if you're gonna close your hatch. So I hope you enjoyed that walk around of the Outback. You know, I think that the Outback's actually a really good vehicle. You know, most of the Subarus are really capable vehicles and they get much better gas mileage than your typical off-roading vehicle like a 4Runner or a Tacoma, or, you know, even bigger vehicles. So I can totally understand why some people that don't really want to get into super like off-roading vehicles, or, you know, really going crazy on builds that can do more technical trails, but really just want to go hit the forest roads and get out there into the wilderness and do some camping and that sort of stuff. I totally understand why they would prefer a Subaru Outback or some vehicle like that. I also understand that, you know, not everyone can afford, you know, bigger vehicles, and they get really bad gas mileage, so traveling is also more expensive. And so, you know, whether you can afford it or you can't, you know, the Subaru Outbacks or just those sort of wagon vehicles where they get way better gas mileage and they're still really capable is really appealing. And sometimes I even wish that that was sort of the route I went. But I've really loved my 4Runner, and I, you know, will continue to modify it. But in the meantime, I wanted to help one of my buddies do this build, and at the same time film it so that I could bring that content to all of you, because I'm sure there's some of you out there that really would appreciate seeing another build like this. So there wasn't a ton of Outback content I could find on YouTube. So if you like Outback content like this, maybe I can try and find more content to do in the future. So Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm going to post some designs, or at least just a detailed document of the dimensions for the platform, but it's really not meant to be like a step-by-step guide. It's more just a more detailed description of what I built, so that hopefully you can kind of take that and run with it and create your own design. So that will be going up on the website very soon. I'm just trying to polish off the 4Runner version first, and then I'll get that right up there. So be on the lookout for a pinned comment down below, because I will pin a comment down there when I actually post those plans to my website. So in the meantime though, if you have any questions on the build, or you just are wondering what I did, or maybe some of my thoughts or ideas behind something, feel free to comment that down below. Consider subscribing to the channel too if you like some, this DIY type content, or you like modifications or walk-arounds, all those types of videos I really enjoy doing. And I like to share sort of this design side of off-roading and building out vehicles. So thank you so much for watching. Consider liking the video if it brought you any sort of value, and I'll catch you guys all in the next video.